Viewed from afar, the Earth appears to have a seemingly endless supply of water. Over 70% of the planet's surface is blue, indicative of our vast oceans, lakes, and rivers. Unfortunately, 98% of this water is saline and is not useful for drinking. On some continents, such as North America and Europe, there is an abundance of fresh water, so much so that we often take it for granted and give little thought to its life-sustaining value and the blessing that we enjoy. The same cannot be said in many other parts of the world. There are large, barren desert portions of the earth where little or no life can exist. In other areas where water is scarce, a great deal of effort and toil is required to obtain water that is contaminated and that can do more harm than good. Such is the case in the Gewada region, a 100 square kilometer zone in southwest Ethiopia. Suffering through a prolonged drought, there are 3 villages in this region where several thousand people have no source of clean, potable water. The villagers are forced to retrieve whatever water they can from the faraway Gewada River. The water they bring back from the river contains excess levels of coliform bacteria and pH levels that make it unsafe for human consumption. Thousands suffer from waterborne diseases and other illnesses resulting from the lack of hygiene that the scarcity of water inflicts upon them. Many of these are children under 10 years of age who die in such desperate conditions.
There's no water for the majority of the people. So we have been praying. All the churches across the place are praying. God, you must bring water.
But how can these villagers be supplied with a reliable, healthy source of fresh water? Evangelist Benoradado, a native of the Gewada region, made his burden known to EMI, Engineering Ministries International, a Christian nonprofit organization of volunteer design specialists who came to Ethiopia to study the possibilities.
We had several civil engineers on our team, and we analyzed their existing water source, the river. We found it to be highly polluted with fecal coliform. I think it had a high pH as a result of all the soap that was being used to doing laundry in the same river where they were drawing their water. It was also, it had other contaminants in it. So we sampled that water, and we also sampled the water from a spring that's up the mountain several miles away. And that was much cleaner and much more suitable water source. We also surveyed the distance in between the spring and the village and came up with a suitable scheme to bring the water down from the spring to the village.
They applied all the modern technology. Within few weeks' time, they finished some kind of data collecting, and then they came to North America, and now you see they finished a big feasibility study for clean drinking water for 3 big towns, Gewada and Walango and then Goma. 33,000 people are going to drink water if God really provides for this water.
EMI discovered that 2 wells had been dug in the village of Goma previously, but without electricity and technical knowledge to maintain them, the electric pumps and generators fell into disrepair, and the wells are no longer useful. Shallower hand pump wells could be installed, but only at a distance of more than a mile away, and the yield of water would be insufficient to supply the needs of the population. Water could be trucked in, but the cost of $1.2 million over 20 years would be prohibitive. The most cost-effective solution that EMI recommended is a 17.5 kilometer long, 3-inch diameter, threaded steel, gravity water pipeline system, which would capture clean water from the mountain spring locations and transport it to distribution stations spread throughout the 3 villages. Such a system is already operating efficiently in a region to the north. The cost for such a pipeline system is $630,000 US. That amounts to a cost of just $20 per person served over the 20-year period of its usefulness. The health transformation, reduction of mortality rate, and the freedom to live more productive lives that the pipeline will bring to these people is almost immeasurable. The water presently used comes from a river site where the people bathe and wash their clothes, and where their livestock come to drink. Currently, the villagers spend 1/3 of their day, or two 2-hour return trips, retrieving this contaminated water from the river in 20-liter jugs that weigh 20 kilograms or 50 pounds when full. Often it is women and children who must do this task.
But children 5 or 6 or 7 years of age carrying a big gallons of water in their little back, little tiny bones are breaking inside. And life is very hard for them.
Tests of the pure mountain water sources located 10 to 15 kilometers from the villages indicate a safe, plentiful supply of water to serve the estimated 33,000 people by means of the gravity pipeline system. This system requires no pumps or electricity and only routine maintenance. EMI's design specifications for the pipeline, distribution points, and storage tanks will ensure against surface contamination at the sources, pressure breaks, blockages, tampering, and high demand period shortages. The benefits of the water pipeline system include not only improved health, hygiene, and lifestyle conditions for the people, but will inspire an atmosphere of political unity between the villages as well. The marvelous life-giving gift of water to these communities will also be a tangible expression of God's love, articulated through the local Christian churches and the compassionate giving of caring people overseas.
North America is the most fortunate part of the planet. And anything small here is something big in Ethiopia, especially in places like Gewada. So I would like God's people, anybody who is given abundance, just to share and have these Gewada people also drink some clean drinking water. And this is my heart's cry to God every day, because I think it is impossible on one person, but is doable united.
Gewada Ethiopia's need has become Benora's burden for his people, and it is now shared by EMI's volunteers.
Please pray that I see water in Gewada or die trying. And that's what I said to them. And I meant it. I still mean it. And until I see water, I don't think I can have a rest in life.
Benora's dream of life-sustaining water for his community can now become a reality thanks to EMI's generous donation of expertise and through your compassionate support. The evangelical leaders of Gewada have sent out Benora to fulfill this vital mission.
So as I was coming back to North America, they made me kneel and lay their hands and said, okay, now we pray. Come back with water. And I am so excited and also anxious and trusting the Lord, and He will do it.